Happy Sunday, everybody. November 21st, 2021. This is the Humanity Matters Show. I am your host, Philip Fletcher. Thank you for joining me either live or on a recording over on YouTube or the podcast, which releases on Wednesday. We are here to discuss things related to human dignity and human flourishing. Those ideas that contribute to human flourishing, and even those ideas that are obstacles and hindrances to human flourishing. Either way, thank you for joining me on tonight. We are going to dig in self-defense, but then lighten up and talk about what it is we are thankful for. So thank you for joining me on tonight for this show. So, as always, to get things rocking and rolling, please subscribe either on Twitter or on Facebook or on YouTube. Subscribe. I appreciate it very much. Trying to hit that 200. That's my goal for the end of the year. Also, you can go over to my website, philipfletcher.org. Hey, subscribe to the free newsletter that comes out every Sunday. It's called Personalist Living and Leading. Just offers a reflection and then a couple of questions to get you just thinking throughout the week in regards to human flourishing, not only for ourselves, but also those we live with, those we work with, go to school with, worship with, or someone that you just see on a daily basis. So appreciate that very much. Next. Want to be a supporter, always go over to Humanity Matters Patreon. I would greatly appreciate it. Humanity Matters over on Patreon. You just look up Patreon, put in the name Philip Fletcher PhD, and you'll see it. And as little as $5, you can support the work that is going on here. Over there, I release my thoughts on the Rittenhouse trial. I did a little 10-minute clip that you can go over on my anchor.fm podcast or wherever you get your podcast. Kind of gives an introduction over there. But if you want to hear my real in-depth thoughts on Rittenhouse, my perspective on the trial, my perspective on the verdict, and then my perspective on how individuals have looked at it from different angles, then I would encourage you to go over to Patreon. You can listen to it. It's about 45 to 50 minutes long. So there that is. Hey, Giving Tuesday is coming up. Now, Giving Tuesday is that opportunity, all right, for you to donate to great nonprofits across America, across the world. And I would like to encourage you to consider next Tuesday making a donation to the City of Hope Outreach. You can go to our website, coho58.org, coho58.org, and you can give a gift in any amount on Giving Tuesday. All right. As well, make it $100, make it $5, make it $10,000. Hey, every little bit counts as we seek to be loved, to be kind, to be generous to men, women, and children here in Conway and Faulkner County and the state of Arkansas. So there that is. So let's get to some news. So if you don't know, I live in Arkansas, live in the county of Faulkner County and in the city of Conway. My stream is a little shaky right now, so please forgive me for the quality. I'm hoping that it's going to fix up soon. StreamYard be giving me some fits sometimes, I tell you. Either way, here we go. So, what's going on in Conway? If you don't know, well, this was reported on November 17th, 2021, and this is coming from the Log Cabin Democrat, all right, or the Log Cabin, excuse me, the Log Cabin. And the headline states, employees file lawsuit against Conway Regional over vaccine mandate religious exemptions. And so This is what it has to say. And this was filed on November 17th, and it was updated on November 18th, 2021. And so this is what the cabin is reporting. All right. There's so many pop-ups on this. It can be irritating. All right. Hold on one second here. Let me get this joker out the way. All right. A lawsuit has been filed against Conway Regional Health System over religious exemptions in the hospital's COVID-19 vaccine mandate. As more businesses continue to enforce vaccine requirements, it could be the start of a new trend in Arkansas. The article goes on to say, and this is in thecabin.net, the lawsuit names 6 plaintiffs, both former and current employees, who say their religion forbids them from getting the COVID-19 vaccine. The suit was filed last month in order to prevent the hospital from enforcing its vaccine mandate in their cases. According to the lawsuit, Conway Regional employees must receive the COVID-19 vaccine or face termination. The hospital did offer a religious exemption, but some were rejected, according to attorney Brian Vandiver, who filed the suit. The lawyer is quoted as saying, in a lot of respects, you have employees that have given, in many instances, decades of their life of service to a company. All of a sudden, these employers are treating these workers no different than a rancher treats cattle, he said. Okay. Wow. Brian Vandiver goes on to say they've either been told that they can't have the exemption, or they've been granted the exemption and have since been segregated and stigmatized in ways that we believe are illegal, close quote. All right. He goes on to say it's not the employer's job or role to question someone's individual faith, he said. This is an issue of civil rights and religious liberty, and Arkansas has a strong background in defending religious liberty. All righty. So let's see. Do we have any response from the hospital in this? There's no response. Oh, here it is. The Conway Regional suit seeks unspecified damages for lost wages and emotional distress. KATV reached out to Conway Regional for a statement, but they were unable to comment on pending litigation. Conway Regional was served on October 21st and has 30 days to answer. So that answer should be coming this week. So that is what's going on here in Conway at, I would argue, our largest hospital, Conway Regional. So there that is on that. That's going on. What else is going on in good old Conway, Faulkner County? All right, somebody else is declared for office. Taylor announces candidacy for Faulkner County judge. And this was filed on November 20th, 2021. So this was yesterday. On Monday, Faulkner County Circuit Clerk Crystal Taylor announced her candidacy as a Republican for Faulkner County Judge in 2022. All right. Quote, after significant deliberation with my family and friends and much prayer, it is with great excitement that I announce my campaign for Faulkner County Judge, Taylor said. The article goes on, and she's quoted, when I ran for Circuit Clerk in 2016, I promised I would search for ways to make our office the most efficient while staying up to date with technology. And I have kept that promise as a proven conservative leader with proven results. I believe in government transparency, fiscal discipline, and being a good steward of your tax dollars. All right. And I am eager to bring my experience to Faulkner County Judge's office. I would be honored to continue to represent the people of Faulkner County and humbly ask for your support and vote again in the Republican primary on May 24th, 2022. All right. So, Crystal Taylor, she is the current circuit clerk. Yep, circuit clerk. She has declared her candidacy for county judge. And that position is currently held by Baker, Jim Baker. That's his first name. So there you go. Now, I don't know if a woman has ever been the county judge. So that would be interesting. I don't know nobody from the Democratic side has declared anything, or libertarians, independents. So it'll be interesting to see those individuals who will be running for if you will, the chief executive position for Faulkner County. So, congratulations on your candidacy, Crystal Taylor. So, that's kind of the stuff that's going on here in Conway, here in Faulkner County. If you didn't know, now you know. All right. So, do your research. Check out all of these people that are running for office, whether they're Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Independent, Socialist, whomever, right? Green Party, Constitutional Party, whoever it is, go with an open mind, right? And vote. It's important. In my estimation, it's important. I know for some people, voting is like, nah, all right? But either way, it is your chance for your voice to be heard. All right. So, yeah. So I mentioned earlier about Kyle Rittenhouse. And if you want to know my thoughts, my in-depth thoughts about Kyle Rittenhouse, I'm really bothered by my feed quality tonight. So, yeah, I don't get it. Anyways, stay strong. So, now he was found not guilty on all charges about what happened in Kenosha. He shot and killed 2 individuals and wounded a third. All right. All of them were white. That's the facts. They were all white. They were all white. All right. So if it was white supremacy like turned on its head and like, oh, we got a question here. Andre, where do I find candidates for each county? You could call each county clerk's office, all right, where you do voter registration, Andre. Also, you can begin to go to the Arkansas Secretary of State's office, and they should be able to help you out as well for you to learn those individuals who are filing to run for office. So hope that helps. So check out your county clerk. Your county clerk is who oversees voter registration and all that kind of stuff, where you get marriage licenses. But you can also go to the Secretary of State's office down in Little Rock as well, and that will help out as well. All right, great question, Andre. So, self-defense. So, do you have the right to defend yourself? Before we get to situations, right? Because there could be an infinite number of situations, infinite number of contexts. The first question we should ask ourselves is, does the individual have the right to defend him or herself when he or she is facing some type of physical aggression? I think we would all agree that when we face verbal aggression, like someone says, hey, you're dumb, or hey, you're stupid, or hey, you don't know nothing, something rises up in us and we return some type of verbal retort. Don't call me that. I am not that. No, you are this. And that fact, right, because of the verbal aggression, if you will, that you've experienced, right, some type of words that makes you feel less than human, all right, is depersonalizing you. You return either a fight or flight type situation. You defend yourself by disengaging, right, and leaving, or you defend yourself by saying, you know what, you're not going to call me that, or you may call them a name equal to what they called you, or you may call them something bigger, or you may like say, well, your mama is this, or your daddy is this, or that kind of thing. So there's self-defense like that. Then there's the self-defense that we need to take into consideration when it comes against our physical person, right? So when I feel as if my life is in danger, again, that fight or flight response happens. Okay. So does the individual have the right to defend him or herself so that he or she can continue, can continue to live as they were living prior to that physical aggression, having all of their body parts, having little to no damage to their body, and in the most extreme case, they're going about living, period. All right. The second question we have to ask ourselves is this: what can I use to defend myself? Okay. And within that question, to what degree can I use whatever implement I am using to defend myself? Again, the individual wants to continue on living. Okay. And I think the desire to live, to exist, is a common experience across all human beings. Now, again, that second question, what can I use? Now, I have these. I have my hands. I have my legs and my feet. So if I am confronted by somebody, right, and they are seeking to do me bodily harm, okay, I will make the argument that I, as a human being who has the right to exist, can push that person away. So in this scenario, again, I said there's an infinite amount of scenarios. In this scenario, I take my hands and I push the aggressor away. I push the aggressor away. The aggressor either stops what he or she is doing, or the aggressor could continue on. Now, let me get into this, what's wrapped up into this question about what I use, how I use what I use. Now, personally, I am trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Okay. So when the individual aggresses me, I can, yes, push him away. I can restrain his or her arms. If need be, I can take the person to the ground, get in a dominant position, and then seek to restrain the individual. Now, I say restrain. Now there's a spectrum of things in which I can do in which to restrain that individual. But let's remember, this all started with individual A aggressing me. So I am seeking to do things to diminish and actually stop the aggression. I'm seeking to defend myself. And if we want to make an argument, if it moves beyond me pushing the individual away and we get into a situation where I'm using my training in which to restrain and stop the individual, he or she is going to probably end up seeking to try to defend himself as well, right? Again, it's our defense and wanting to live and continue to exist. That's something common amongst all human beings. So, for argument's sake, I take the person down, I restrain him. The person is like, okay. I disengage at that point. I get up, I step back. The individual, either laying there, gets up, he or she steps back. Then we seek another way to resolve the situation that's going on. All right. So right now, what I'm talking about is simply the use of my hands. Right now, where things become difficult is when we use things that are extending from our body that we are using so that we can achieve the fundamental thing to defend our life so that we can continue to exist. So, whether that is a knife, some type of blade, longer than a pocket knife, if you will, all right? It could be a pen. It could be some scissors. It could be a handgun, a rifle, okay? It could be a bow and arrow, all right? I'm thinking about implements that extend from our body that we could use if they were available to us to stop the aggressive situation that is happening. Again, I'm making the argument from the standpoint of I'm seeking to defend my life. I'm seeking to defend my life. Now, there is a book that I had to read when I was an officer. It was called On Killing. And it talks about the psychology of what goes through soldiers' minds when they have to take the life of an individual. And one of the things that I always walked away with from that book was the intimate nature of that experience of taking, if you will, the life of an individual at the extreme case, or doing some type of aggression. The closer you are in contact with another individual, and in this case, an individual who may be aggressing you and you have to defend yourself, the more intimate and violent that situation is. So again, in my first example, if it is simply hand to hand, that is a very intimate situation, yet also violent and aggressive. If you will, for me to have some type of implement, let's just say, for instance, I had a pocket knife, right? And the individual then began to choke me, then I have a decision to make. Again, fight or flight. Do I continue to use my hands? The individual is seeking to restrict my airway. And as such, by restricting my airway, that makes me even more vulnerable. Yet what I have at my disposal is something else that can de-escalate the situation. The situation has escalated because now the individual is seeking to restrict my breathing. He could collapse my airway. He could break my neck. I do not know at that point. I do not know what that individual is capable of, but what is available to me is not only my hands, but since the situation has escalated, I reach for something to match that escalation. Now, here's the thing. I could have immediately just reached for the knife instead of used my hands, pointed the knife at the individual, and I could immediately de-escalate the situation, or I also put myself at a disadvantage as well because that person could disarm me of my knife. Again, I don't know his or her skill level, and take the knife from me, and I'm in a worse situation. There are trade-offs. And so one of the things you have to consider is how skilled you are with the implements that you have at hand, whether it's your hands or some other implement, whether it's a knife, scissors, a bat, a gun, a rifle, a handgun. How skilled you are to not only deploy that instrument, but use it effectively. Because if you do not use it effectively, you put yourself in a situation in which the other individual, the aggressor, could disarm you and use the implement that you have against you. Our right to life is a very precious, simply precious. I think if we really sit and think about it, we ponder at some point in a day, in a week, in a month, our present situation, our future situation. We contemplate our purpose and meaning in life, but at some point we contemplate our mortality. And in the case of aggression, that is when you've come face to face with your mortality. You come face to face with the possibility that you may not, quote unquote, survive this particular experience. Now, some may ask, well, Philip, what if you place yourself in a particular situation that you don't need to be in? And to those individuals, I say, and to that, not to those individuals, I respond this way. There will be situations that we walk into that we're unaware of that could become hostile. And there are situations, for whatever reason, an individual walks into that is hostile. But even walking into that hostile situation, I would make the argument, and I'm open to critiquing this. I would posit that even if I walk into a hostile situation, I do not surrender my right to self-defense. Again, there could be a number of reasons and motivations I must introduce myself into a hostile situation. And in the midst of that particular experience, again, I have not surrendered my right to self-defense. But I would say, and this is Philip speaking, I am doing those things to mitigate any possibility of that hostility turning on myself to accomplish whatever situation that I am there to accomplish. In light of what happened Friday with the verdict, other cases came out. There's a case of some young girls purportedly who were human trafficked, and they killed their captor. Is that a case of self-defense? In the case of Breonna Taylor and her boyfriend, right, with a no-knock warrant, the police came in, they were asleep, boyfriend didn't know what was going on. Boyfriend, they were in their place. He started shooting. They started shooting. Obviously, Breonna Taylor ended up dead. He is in his own place, unaware of what is going on. Does he have the right to defend himself and those in his household, unaware of who is coming in to his residence? Recently, there was another case of a young man who was found not guilty as well. Again, it was regarding interaction with law enforcement. He shoots, he's defending himself. He's in his place of residence. So these are the things that we need to ask ourselves. After this case, how do we view self-defense? Do I have the natural right to self-defense, or is my self-defense left up to the group? Does the group get to determine whether I had the right to defend myself? And if we're going to leave it up to the group to determine whether my actions were justified, we have to take into consideration how the group's values, beliefs can change over time. But what does not change over time is what I believe the fundamental natural right that every living human being has the right to defend him or herself. And if we really think about it, we look into the animal kingdom, right? They have no laws, they have no courts, they have no defense attorneys or prosecutors or juries. We see how animals defend themselves. We see how even in some of the different species that they have embedded within them defense structures so that their life can continue. Something profound about not only the naturally occurring defense that happens in, say, animals and fishes, so on and so forth, but that also we have this natural right, I believe. Now, we're not born with pines or able to change our color to ward off aggression or anything like that. We have our hands that can do multiple things to utilize, to create, to break down, to fashion, but also to hold things in order to defend ourselves. So again, we are going to have to be very thoughtful and careful about the idea of defense. Personally, I got weapons in my house to defend not only myself, but those who live in my house. When I'm out and about, I carry something with me to defend myself if need be. But again, like I also said, even if I didn't carry something on me, I am skilled and trained with these hands and other training that I have received over the years and continue to do. So we have to ask ourselves, regardless of our ethnicity, regardless of our political persuasion, regardless of our religious belief, regardless of our social standing, regardless of whether we were born here in America or in England or in India, does the individual human being have the natural right to defend him or herself? And does that individual, because he or she has the right to defend him or herself, do they also have the right to choose whatever instrument that they want to choose to defend themselves? We hear a lot of talk. If I could thread this needle, we hear a lot of talk about the deaths of Black men and women. violence against Asians and violence against those in the LGBTQ plus community, violence against those who are transgender. Those individuals, those marginalized, I can't stand that term, but we'll use it anyway. Those marginalized individuals, they have the right to defend themselves. And I would make the argument each one of those individuals has the right to choose whatever implement they are comfortable with using to defend themselves. And again, we have to say this: to take a life is the most psychological, emotionally overwhelming, staining thing that can happen to an individual. And it's one of the most intimate things that can happen between two individuals. We should never be comfortable with it. We should never celebrate it nor be happy about it. But if you can defend yourself in such a way that you don't take another life, I applaud you. But if you have to defend yourself in such a way that it ends up taking the life of that aggressor, I sympathize with you. And so we should not be so cavalier. We should not be joking or mocking about those individuals who demonstrate PTSD trauma because they took the life of another individual. Those individuals need support and help, therapy, assistance in whatever way possible to help them through that event that is going to stay with them. So again, if you have to defend yourself to the point where it does not result in taking a person's life, I applaud you. And if you have to defend yourself, if you're ever met with that situation to where you have to defend yourself and you have to take that person's life either with your hands or some blunt instrument or a knife or a gun or a rifle, I truly empathize with you. And what you will have to carry with you emotionally and psychologically days moving forward. So that's self-defense. Thanks for joining me in. And what are you thankful for? So this coming week is Thanksgiving, coming towards the end of 2021. Wow, we just flown through this thing. All right. Again, I apologize for my feed today. I don't know why the quality of the video is just like, ugh. All right. So it is what it is. All right. I have to hit up StreamYard and all that kind of stuff. But I'm still thankful to be able to broadcast to you tonight. All right. If you don't like the quality, you can be able to listen to this. All right. I think my feed went out. All right. So I am thankful for my family. I have a 23-year-old today. All right. Much love to my son. My oldest daughter, she turned 21 on last Sunday. All right. Oh, the 16th. What day are we on? That was Tuesday. All right. She turned 21. My other daughter, she's holding at 19, about to turn 20, a couple of months. Very thankful for my wife. She's rocking and rolling in the midwife training. She's coming up on starting her next phase, coming on the downhill swing. So y'all be looking out for that. What else am I thankful for? Thankful for my staff at Coho. Thankful for my board. Thankful for my Hope Village committee. They have all done amazing things this year coming out of 2020 and everything that was associated with that. Very thankful to continue to add new people to the board and to the staff and to the Hope Village committee. Very thankful for the progress of Hope Village. I remember no work was being done, right? And then I remember them bulldozers coming earlier this year, and the water pipes were laid, and the sewer stuff was done, and the electrical was done, and now they're out there getting ready to do parking lot type stuff and all that kind of good stuff. So very thankful for that. I am very thankful that God gave me the stick-to-itiveness, perseverance, because this work is hard. There ain't a lot of money in it. All right. I get a lot of attaboys and pats on the backs and all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate those, but it's hard work. It's hard work because of all the different experiences and stories, emotional things that people go through. And I don't know, a day in the life is never the same. So I'm very thankful for that organization. Remember Giving Tuesday. Next Tuesday, the 30th. Make a donation to Coho. Learning. I've learned so much. This year, I've been contemplating running for office next year. Still contemplating that whole thing. So we'll see. Very thankful for my reading in regarding emotional abuse and trauma. Reading through such works as Jung and Peterson and others. Freud, yes. Reading Nietzsche, reading those things about the human experience and nihilism and parent-child interactions and the impact of childhood trauma on adults, and seeking to understand those things so that I can better listen, so that I can better figure out how to respond to individuals whom I talk to on a daily basis. So there that is. That's what I'm thankful for. And I'm thankful because I'm on vacation this week. So I look forward to just going to the gym in the morning, writing during the day, and then going to the gym at night. That's my plan. And I got a Lego that I'm working on as well. So that's going to be cool. All right. So that's how I'm going to spend my week, trying to breathe, relax, start planning for 2022 as well. All that good stuff. And get ready for Christmas, my favorite time of the year. I love Christmas. Love it. So there that is tonight. So Paul says, I am thankful for my friend Phil. Well, Paul, I'm thankful for you too. All righty. So, hey, thank you for joining me tonight on the Humanity Matters show. Again, I apologize for the feed. I desire to have great quality because I put a lot of people have sponsored this and I want to put out great quality. So got to handle that situation. Like I'm looking at my screen right now and it looks awesome, right? I have another screen that I look at to see the actual feed and it's not so awesome. So got to work those things out. So again, thank you for joining me on tonight. There will be no show this coming Sunday. I'll be headed to Utah. So I'll be out of town for a couple of days. So we'll have another show in the upcoming week. Again, check out the podcast on all your podcast outlets. All right. Again, find me over on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, World Wide Web. Subscribe to the weekly newsletter. That'll come out and all that good stuff. And don't forget, on next Tuesday, Giving Tuesday, give a gift. Coho58.org. Greatly appreciate it. I like to tell people, hey, helping people, it costs. It does cost money. So your generosity goes a long way to provoking hope in individuals and families and communities over time for the glory of God. So, as always, remember to be loved, to be kind, to be generous, and to be courageous. And if we remember to live in hope, we can do the impossible. Take care. God bless. Hey, if you found something of value, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Find us on Facebook at Dr. Philip Fletcher. Find us on Twitter at Philip Fletcher. And as always, visit us on the website philipfletcher.org.